Reginald here. Justice is implacable. That's why I always fire while advancing. For the first time ever, Darktide is bringing a ranged and melee defensive weapon combo to the field. You can block while shooting. This is easily one of my favorite toys to play with in Darktide, and I have been really surprised by how fun it is. Purpose in kit. The Judgment Mark IV Subductor Shotpistol and Riot Shield is a remarkably versatile weapon that fills the Quick Draw Specialist and Elite Eliminator role. With only 5 to 6 shots available, it does suffer from low capacity, but those shots really chunk at close range, and with the right RBD's talents, you can lay waste to a swathe of enemies if needed. Basics. This ranged defensive hybrid weapon offers a 5-round cylinder that gets a magic shell with a special talent. It fires in a tight spread pattern that looks like this and has adequate range for 1 to 2 tapping key targets. It also has surprising horde efficiency due to solid cleave and extra shots when using Castigator stance if that's your thing. The defensive utility allows for blocking both ranged and melee attacks while on the move and is activated simply by holding right mouse button or whatever your ADS normally is. Unfortunately, you cannot reload while blocking, so you'll need to do the old dodge dance to get the rounds back in. Still, this does afford you unique opportunities to push into ranged foes while firing, or safely advance without ammo even, and to tank melee hits while popping trappers, hounds, flamers, or whatever. This weapon has access to the following blessings. Build recommendations. I do have build recommendations. As a playtester for this weapon, I have had a decent amount of time with it, including in Havoc games. It is still new, however, and as always, please remember that I am just one enthusiastic dude. So if you do find a better setup than what I am proposing here, leave a comment for the masses. I will pin it if you can provide data to back up your claims. Modifiers. For peak performance in your modifiers, like most weapons in Darktide, you're completely safe to dump to 60% on the mobility stat, and then it's 80s for everything else. Perks. I think for the use case of this weapon, Maniac and Flak serves it best when focusing on specialist and light elite eliminations. This thing can hit some interesting peaks into monstrosities and other unyielding targets, but I do struggle to see the value there when you could just take a bolter or executioner shotguns or whatever and get that plus the ammo economy to do other jobs too. In my view, focusing on using this weapon against its core targets and maybe the odd funny horde blast is the better choice for its design. Blessings. Just like always, we're going to rank order the blessings, starting with the ones I think are going to prove out to be the best and working our way down. I will give my justifications.
First up, the top of the line S tier blessings that I pretty much always recommend using, although you can definitely do other things, are No Respite and Full Bore. After that, some good options that are definitely A tier are Fire Frenzy, Death Spitter, and probably Pinpoint Targeting. Also High Voltage. Basically anything that gives you damage or strength on an easy to trigger event. Next on my list, are all the B tier options, and there's nothing lower than that, so we're just gonna go through them. Run and Gun, solid, gives you a little extra damage, but only while sprinting, but it does reduce weapon spread at all times by 30%. So this makes the gun better at longer ranges, but you are sacrificing damage, and you can't really like sprint and fire this gun as easily because you're wanting to use it as a shield. So it's like B tier. Manstopper, of course, is going to be paired with Scattershot when you are using it, and you're going to be getting that huge additional stagger and cleave potential here from that. Scattershot is crit chance on hitting multiple attacks, which you can absolutely do with this gun, so no problems there. And then Speed Load gets you reload speed for 4 seconds after a close kill, which you're going to do plenty of that as well with this gun, so more reloads faster is not a terrible idea for this weapon. All of those are B tier to me, and that's the blessings.
Now, if you want to see how this weapon actually plays in game, I'm going to play about a 10-minute section after the credits of this video. I will timestamp it so you know where to go. Weapon data. As it happens, I do have test data this time, and I think you're going to be very pleased with how this weapon shakes out in the balance. It is fairly in line with the Zerona revolver, but has less range, easier target acquisition, better horde clear, worse armor busting, and better defensive safety. I will warn you that it does suffer a bit in a Havoc environment. Not because it can't rack up a pile of kills or doesn't hit breakpoints, but because other weapons can do the exact same job and have a broader use case across the game, with more ammo and better damage highs. Literally the same reasons you don't see the Zerona in Havoc as much as in Auric. I'd probably rate this weapon as like an S in Auric, maybe an A, and a B in Havoc. It's certainly usable and I have done it, but it's not amazing. Build. I'm going to provide what I think is a solid build for this weapon that satisfies an effective and tanky strategy. I will say that I love this build and I think it's super fun. I've beaten a Havoc 30 with it, but I have not yet beaten a Havoc 40 with it. You could certainly min-max more, but my intent is something usable in all scenarios.
Let's cover the talent pool here for this build. We're going to take Withering Fire because we get damage off reloading. We're going to be doing plenty of that with this revolver. Up close for a toughness generation on that, and then staggering melee attacks toughness gen is pretty solid since we're going to have a high stagger melee weapon with our shields, and we can also proc this with our shield bashes on the Shotpistol. Walk It Off is solid, and it's on path to get to this toughness damage reduction and our range damage buff. We're going to want the remote detonation on our dog because it will generate stagger against bosses, which will allow us to do a lot more damage. Arbitrator armor is kind of required. We'll get our ammo capacity so we can actually use our gun. Concussive is incredibly strong, and you should pretty much always pass through it if you can. It allows you to leverage Skull Crusher and other damaging blessings based on stagger just by hitting the enemy with melee attacks. Suppression Protocols is just better than Suppression Force, so we'll grab that on our way to Breaking Descent. This does extra damage to Staggered, which we're going to do plenty of, and more damage is our goal with this kit. We'll need to grab Class Seal Plates to get to our Cleave Boost. Cleave Boost makes this weapon feel much better into enemy targets and can actually be effective into hordes. We won't be able to afford either of these, any of these nodes here, so we'll just keep moving. We're going to be taking Castigator Stance, we're going to be taking Writ of Execution, and we're going to be taking Blessed Armament. Blessed Armament allows you to usually get between 2 and... I've had 3 extra shots before having to reload while in Castigator Stance. That matters a lot for your total output on this revolver. Justified Measures is just a damage pump, and it seems to work for everything. It doesn't even have to just be melee attack. Street Smarts is fine. It will improve our dodges and dodge duration. We don't really need that, but it's on our way and the best option while getting Priority Endowment, which will take us from 5 shots to 6 on our revolver, which is a huge boon. This pairs nicely with Blessed Armament to give us more time to get more shots in and overall benefit greatly. I know what you're thinking. Why Castigator Stance with 2 shields on the build? But the truth is, Castigator Stance is just a really strong defensive buff, and this offensive set of secondary nodes is very strong. Okay, so we get 15% damage after successful dodge, which is great because we're going to be doing plenty of that. Zealous Dedication is crit, which this pistol does do crit to some degree, though not with any of the blessings. Serrated Maw is amazing for the dog. So we're going to be using the dog to pounce on certain targets to generate brittleness. Then we'll stagger the target, which will allow us to take advantage of Executioner and Full Bore and any kind of other stagger blessing we have. This is really strong into bosses or other big targets. Silicate Scan is incredibly strong, and it's very easy to get weak spot hits with a shotgun. Prosecution Blow will give us more rending when we get those crits, and we're going to have a fairly high crit chance overall, so it's solid. Finally, Execution Order is just a solid damage pump. It gives us attack speed, gives us damage. It's just overall very useful. We also are going to pick up this crit damage and crit chance. We'll pick up the cooldown regeneration so we get more of our Castigator Stance. No Lenience will give us a little bit more rending. Healing Protocol is our boss damage buff, and you really need that on this class because this class does suffer into bosses, and it's a permanent buff as long as you don't die. That's the build. Let's look at the actual equipment. So we're going to be taking the Shock Wall and Suppression Shield. You can take whatever pattern you like. I've been finding the Mark 11 to be pretty usable. We're going to be wanting Maniacs, Unyielding, High Voltage, and Hammer Blow. We'll be taking for our Subductor Shotpistol. We'll be running Maniacs and Flak Armored with Full Bore and No Respite. No Respite is incredibly strong on shotguns for staggers, and of course you can proc that by using your dog to jump the target and use your AoE blast. This can very easily stagger things. I don't know if you know this, but it's up to 20% damage based on how staggered the enemy is. So the more staggered they are, the more damage you're going to do. This is much like Skull Crusher. Full Bore is very easy to get with this Shotpistol, so it's just an incredible powerhouse of a blessing. Let's talk about Curios. We'll do, with Curios on this class, I have not found a reason yet to do anything other than 2 toughness and 1 stamina. So it'll be toughness, toughness, stamina. I generally want to grab combat regeneration, more toughness, and block efficiency. I find this works really good on the class because you are going to be doing plenty of blocking, and there's lots of opportunities to take advantage of the shield block and so on. You can really tank a lot of stuff that way. But the block efficiency is up to you. In this case, I'm using stamina regeneration, gunner resist, which is incredible. You should always take gunner resist, especially if you're playing into havocs. And then this one will also be just gunner resist, toughness and combat ability regeneration. This overall gives you a ton of resources to play with when playing this build, including stagger options from the shields and lots of damage output. The only thing you're really going to suffer into is large, dense mobs of enemies, but you have friends, and so general chaff hordes might slow you down, but they won't generally finish you off, and you should be fine. This build will be refined over time, but I think it's thematic and enjoyable to play, and I have run it in Havoc, though I haven't beaten Havoc 40 with it just yet. I'll get there.
Weapon combos. Okay, so this thing is slightly a melee weapon. Primary attack shoots the weapon from hipfire. As far as I can tell, there's nothing special about the hipfire in terms of minimum pellet counts at longer ranges, and as far as I can tell, ADS isn't actually tightening the spread, which is actually atypical for Darktide weapons, but it does give you the block, so in most cases you should be using it anyway. The big thing to know is that the weapon special has a light and heavy variant. Light tapping the special button gives you a quick shield bash, which is apparently identical to a melee push, while holding the special button before releasing will give you this little bash combo smack that chains quickly into firing immediately after and puts your gun on target. It's slick and fun to use, but it doesn't really offer any special value. It's just thump and go. Like many things in Darktide, I mostly use it for the cinema of it. Tips and tricks. This weapon, like most in Darktide, has staged reloads, and you can do small segments of the reload between blocks and dodges to get ammo in your gun in bad situations. Despite technically not being the same weapon, you can totally pair this with the shield and maul to make it feel like you're swapping between the main-handed weapons and not swapping out the shield. I like that. With the right talents, this weapon has some solid boss damage, actually. And pairing it up with your dog's stagger effects can get you the stagger damage buff from no respite, which is pretty big. I recommend shooting mauler bodies and any other flak target instead of carapace whenever you can find it. Shoot scab rager heads, as their torso is carapace. Drag ragers just do what you want, as is effective in the moment. This thing eats them for breakfast. Outro. Well, it's been my pleasure to explain as much as I can about this weapon to you, and I hope you find it as fun and useful as I do. As ever, I find the guns to be a little on the simple side compared to the melee weapons, so this one's a little shorter. I will say it's pure cinema to run this weapon in games, and peak gameplay joy in my opinion. It really activates my monkey neurons. So go forth and get activated. With that, thanks so much for visiting. Warm regards,
Reginald.
I would like to take a moment to provide an extra special thank you to Joseph Davison for becoming my second Oathmaker level member. Your support means a lot to me, genuinely. Thank you so much. I would also like to say thank you to Miles Williams Lewis for being an Adept level member for 5 months now. Thank you so much. It really helps out the channel a lot. And also, to my surprise, Fluff and Zimisk3 for becoming Adept level members this month. That's a huge deal for me. Thank you so much. Also, just a special shout out to all of the members who are supporting my channel, and to Vinny especially, who has made many of my members. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you to my members. You guys are awesome. If you would like a special shout out at the end of my video, you can join my channel by hitting the join button and becoming a member. Thank you everybody so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for visiting, and bye-bye. Now, as we roll through this gameplay section, don't forget to check out the link in the description below to wishlist this DLC.
Going in the book of not grudges.
Beat his ass. Let us move on.
Get down onto the supply track. It'll take you to the Logistratus.
All right, we gotta look for some ammo.
How is there no ammo? Like, I have not seen an ammo crate in 100,000 years. It's gonna be all right at the end.
You
like,
literally just picked a big one up in the corner, you liar.
Yeah, well, no, I mean ammo crate. Like, we should have seen an ammo crate somewhere.
Mr. just picked up a huge ammo and...
Yeah, I spent it all on those shooters. It was peak. Yeah, we can just back up and they'll come to us for fun. Lord. Victoria. I'm going back upstairs. I don't want to be here.
It's not the spot. Help me! I have no idea what's happening. Nice little spot. Yeah, I mean the dog is really good.
Yes.
If anyone was worried about the efficacy of Doge, that's not the spot, bro. That's not the spot you're supposed to be.
I got pushed out by other things.
Oh, I have so much DR, but it's gonna wear off. No.
Oh, I can't get back. I live here now.
Oh god, I don't want to be here. Where's my dog?
Flamer's at.
They're dead.
My knees survived that fall. There's ammo there for you on the left. Oh boy.
I'm pushing. Oh, that was really cool. Oh my god, the sniper blew his own homie in half. After I just mowed down 15 other gunners. Oh, there's a demon host.
Ah, I'm dogged. Ah. I tried to do a push with my shield, but I was too late. Thank you. Thank you, doggy friend. Oh, man. Into the closet I go.
I'm just pushing.
Yep. I'm just waiting. Probably should. You know what? I would have gotten corrupted anyway, so I'm glad I didn't use this Medicaid, because I would have never gotten value out of it. Alright, I'm here, running your way.
A bunch of maulers.
Stuff coming in behind you, too. Careful.
Oh, so many maulers. What in the world? I got trapped through all of it. Nice, Nuncio. Thank you.
Good.
That is what I would call clutch, brother. Oh god, the mobility is just so bad with the shield, though.
Yeah, it is.
I feel so sluggish.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, my dog is freaking out.
Walking around this corner.
He's so tanky, though. God damn.
I'm pushing up to you.
Careful, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my god.
Oh my. Holy cow. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. This is nasty. This is very nasty.
Is this just regular orc?
Yeah, yeah. We're just in the, this is one of the nastiest parts of the map.
I gotta back all the way out. Oh yeah, they got a lot in there. See, why does that blow up? I hit it in melee, bro. I guess the tank already activated, but like.
Yeah, that's the reason. At least it doesn't do damage anymore.
Oh, okay, that was not my favorite thing. I think the dog knocked it into me.
Yep, that's a thing too.
Where's a good spot?
There was a good spot if you have enough of this. Taser, taser, taser.
Push.
Doing another shock mine.
Yeah, that mine is so clutch for dogs. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is. Apparently I didn't need to do it, but... Ah! Yeah, there we go. Let's go.